Hey y'all, it's Kathy Bowe, your independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and there's a lot of noise in the background. I have one of those sliding barn doors on my studio, which does nothing for sound. It's all about visual because it doesn't cut out any sound. But okay, these eyes have been crying a bit, and I just want to tell you guys why. Okay, you can go pee. This is going to be happening. It's my life. So, we have 4 of our 5 grand littles here today, ages 4, the one that's in my studio bathroom, up to 11. And Ren went with her mom and dad to Children's Hospital of Atlanta for her test today. And what I have been having tears about, it's good news, y'all. But what hit me really hard and literally put me on my knees in prayer again in thanksgiving is that for the first time since her diagnosis of neuroblastoma at 16 months old, for the first time her blood work is completely normal. Completely normal. We are just, I can't even describe it. I can't even describe it. I just, like, first of all, I want to eat everything. I want a cake this big. Yes, baby.
What are you talking to?
I'm talking to a video.
Well, I'm going to tell you something.
Okay, tell me something.
Can you button my panties?
Can I what? Button your panties?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. You're being silly. Be nice on my video. All right, go put your shoes on and go play with Papa Bo. We never know what we're going to get around here. I can't describe how this feels because it's an elation. It's so much to process. Just that little thing. It's just so much to process. When she was diagnosed, I almost had a stroke. So I have learned the very hard way not to just cut loose with my emotions, you know, because I didn't know, I wasn't trying to be upset. I couldn't stop from being upset anyway. So today we've got good news. And like I said, I want to eat everything in sight. If a carb came running through this room, I would probably body slam it and fry it. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. And I'm diabetic, so I have to watch my carbs, right? But here's the thing. Her blood work is normal for the first time, for all we know, in her whole life. Because we feel that she was born with the tumor. It's in her neck, and it goes around her carotid artery, and it's neuroblastoma. 2B is the stage. Thank God it wasn't 4. Supposedly, if they had waited till 18 months to find it, and I say waited because one pediatrician says, oh, it's a blocked gland, and another one says this, another one, and by the time we got to the tumor people at Children's Hospital of Atlanta, they were able to say, no, this is not a blocked gland. So for all we know, you know, she's never had normal blood work until now. She's been on a trial medication called crizotinib, and that was a blessing that the story is that long, people. There's the praises are that long. Everything that God has done for us is so big. I can't even tell you. It gives me chills to this minute to think of so many of the things that God has done for us. So today's news is her blood work is perfect. Okay, baby. her what she's going to do is be on this trial medication that she's been on for a few years. She's going to be on it for 7 more months. 3 months from there, they will do another MIBG and MRI, which is what they do right now. Every 6 months they're doing that, but they'll do it 3 months after she goes off the meds. Then they'll do it every 6, and then they'll do it for a year, every year. Some of the music to my ears besides that blood work was that she will actually go to a whole different medical team. They're called pediatric survivors they care for pediatric survivors, and they will monitor and doctor her through her puberty years until she's an adult, and at that point she goes to an adult survivor group of doctors. So basically, as we expected, this is going to be something, lifelong, because it's a tumor in her neck. They can't really remove it. They've tried to, long time ago, they tried to debulk it, and it just really ticked it off. It really ticked it off. So the best thing they found was to leave it alone because they couldn't remove it. So that's where we're living today. And man, I cried. I got on my knees. Now, I got to tell y'all, there's a whole lot of weight on these knees, okay? And it's been a while since I've been able to actually hit my knees in prayer, and I didn't feel a single pain, and I got up without a problem. It's all God, y'all. It's every bit God. It's every bit God. Every bit of gas that I had to put in my car, God provided. Every meal that we had to eat, I was half of her care team, so the daddy could stay home with the older child because they weren't used to being apart as a family, and he worked from home. And I was half of her care team. The hotels, the Ronald McDonald House, the meals, the steps it took literally to move my feet on that first chemo day. I had to ask God to give me one step. And I thought one step would do it, but it didn't. I had to say, give me one more step, Lord. Just give me one more step. And in my heart, I just kept asking for one more step. And eventually we made it to infusion. And as traumatic as that was for me as a grandmother, I can't imagine how my daughter was feeling and how afraid Bryn must have been. We were very fragile people. But God has restored. I became so fragile that I was not able to read a sentence or spell certain words, and I am a writer by trade. Google my name, Kathy with a K, Bohannon. I'm all over the internet because I'm a writer. I wrote for the Savannah Morning News. I've written for companies all over the world. I couldn't spell, y'all, and I couldn't comprehend. So I'm writing again, and I have columns that I'm doing, and when I go to read, I actually put on headphones like you would use to shoot a gun that silence everything. I don't have any noise coming in. I just have to put on the headphones so that I can retain what I'm writing. But God has restored me. So we are in a season of restoration. And I'm going to sing his praises over and over. And I'll tell you this as well. While this is the biggest praise day we have had as a family since his child was diagnosed, here's something that you really need to know. I thought that I had received and accepted God's will. I thought I had accepted God's will way back. But when it came time to consider this child and what she had ahead of her, I realized I really wanted it my way. And during that time, I had to confess to God that I wanted it my way, but I will accept it His way. And that was one of the turning points in my growth, in my faith, as a Christian, as a believer, as someone who embraces God, and I wanted His will. And if that meant the worst, then I would need His strength. And we don't know, we never know. We may never know what God's will is, but I'll tell you this. It's kind of easy for us right now to say that one of the things that God was willing to happen was to get the trial medicine to Atlanta. And Ren's doctors in Philadelphia did that so that Ren would have closer access. Well, guess what? A lot of children have access to it now. We're blessed. Every one of us are blessed. I don't know what you're going through right now, but I want you to know we've survived our worst days ever. You've survived your worst day ever. And God has a purpose and a plan for every single one of us. We have to surrender to His will. And let me tell you, it is beautiful. Because you get moments to say, thank you, God. I praise you, Lord. I praise you for provision. I praise you for every step of this way that we were able to navigate. We were able to grow in you. We have everything we need. And when we didn't have, it was provided. So, just wanted to give you all that little update. And I know this is not my normal video, but this is my normal heart. So, God bless you guys. Thanks.